Friends, in this video, I'm going to show you the 3 new cards that just got announced. Basically the opposite of Black Witch, but not necessarily. She is a level 7 illusion, not a spellcaster, sadly. So you can't actually send this off Magician Souls or something like that. She is pretty broken in terms of her effect, and she does have that crisp 2500, 2000 stat line that we know, Dark Magician, iconic stat line. And her effects are, you can only special summon with the first effect once per turn. You can only use the third effect of this card's name once per turn. If there is a Sinful Spoils card, either graveyard, not just yours, you can special summon this card from your hand at your graveyard. Your opponent cannot activate spells or trap cards that were not set. Broken, basically the opposite of Dark some more, or like Danko Seka. And then if a spell or trap is set on the field, because you won't know, while this monster is on the field, you can target one card you control and one card your opponent controls, destroy them. So basically, it kind of will create an interesting circumstance where like your opponent's probably gonna set a really shitty card, maybe the worst card, maybe even the new quick play spell that just got released. If you see in my last video, the direct counter to this card, because you destroy it, bam, they get to I forget if it's pop 2 or shuffle 2. Basically that new Sinful Spoils quick play spell is to combat this. Obviously we have not seen many Sinful Spoil builds like just Yugioh that have done well in the TCG. They have basically only done well in the OCG, but they were tearing it up 1 week, winning a whole 3v3 event. Definitely has promise to it, but we will probably not see this in like decks like fire decks or anything like that. Also, another thing to note about this card is it is not a Diabellze star, so you can't even search it off wanted. I went through all like the Snake Eye Sinful Spoils cards. There's not really a good way to get to this card. And if you want to do something degenerate, like if your first thing that comes to mind, like it would for me, is how do we break this card, you would want to use it with a card like I mentioned, Dark Samorg or Danko Seka. Plus this, they basically just, it's a floodgate. They can't activate any spells or trap. So they can only use monster effects if you had this and one of those cards. So that's pretty broken. It's opens the door for a lot of new possibilities. Also, an interesting thing about this card is it is basically a floodgate for any quick play spells, because if you set the quick play spell, you can't use it now. So it is a direct counter to Sinful Spoils 1. Basically, like I said, I wish this was a Diabellze star, but that might be too broken, and I wish it was more accessible. It is a pretty degenerate floodgate type card, so I definitely understand it not being like too overpowered. And then there's also 2 trap cards that are coming out of this. So we have Sinful Spoils Cycle, normal trap. You can only use the first, second once per turn. Take 1 level 5 or higher illusion monster from your deck, so just like the card we just mentioned, and either add it to your hand or special summon it. If summoned this way, it cannot activate its effects during the main phase of this turn. If you specialed this card, you would not be able to activate the third effect. If a spell or trap is set, destroy 2 cards. You would only be able to use its first effect because it is, or its second effect because it is a continuous effect. So it won't actually affect the second part. They did that on purpose, I'm sure. For the second effect of the trap card, Sinful Spoils Cycle, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 1 face down card you control. Return it to the hand, then you can set 1 spell or trap from your hand. I do not know how applicable, if there's some groundbreaking thing, but I doubt it. That effect doesn't seem that relevant. It could help with like follow up or preventing a negate. It's kind of like a revamp of what Dust Tornado's effect is modern day. Obviously not as good. This card in particular might not see any play, so that's all there is really to say about it. It is not a Snake Eye card, so that's one of the most important things with these cards. Is it a Snake Eye? Because obviously, you know, the new card coming out, Populous, it cannot search this. Can only search a Snake Eye card, a Snake Eye spell or trap, and this is not a Snake Eye spell or trap. Then for the third new card that just got announced, we have Sinful Spoils of Dozing Morgan. That's as close as I'm gonna get to the name being correct. Another normal trap card, only first and second effect once per turn, hard once per turn. Target 1 face up special summon monster, change its face down defense position. Book of Moon. If you control a level 5 or higher illusion monster and this card is in your graveyard, you can set this card but banish it when it leaves the field. Double Book of Moon. Definitely seems like a cool going first card. I think this card's actually pretty good. Obviously, if it was a Snake Eye, it would be better. Yeah, so I don't know what to say about it beyond that, because it's like, these cards just get such a buff when they're Snake Eyes, and if they're not Snake Eyes, it's like, who knows where we're going with this. When we look here, excuse the Unchained, I was just streaming Unchained today. I actually think this deck is really powerful, but that's for another video. When we see cards like this in every OCG pure Snake Eye build, we see Snake Eye Dramatic Chase, and we see Sinful Spoils of Revival Silveria. Now we still do see people running this trap with the 3 Black Witch, so maybe I'm being like a little too presumptuous about having access to Sinful Spoils cards, because really, if you play 3 Black Witch, 3 Wanted, and then your main goal is to just summon Black Witch and then say set this new card, a Sinful Spoil Cycle, you're probably going to be able to run this, and it's not a brick in any sense. So going draw phase using this actually kind of seems broken, and I kind of think I maybe should disregard what I was saying before, because like in the original Snake Eyes deck, you are playing this trap card, Sinful Spoils of Betrayal. And really all it does is it's just an imperm, kind of like the level 9 Synchro Void Ogre. It's a better comparison, and it has a graveyard effect. So I mean, it's a pretty good card, but probably not better than the new trap. I'd probably rather set that with Diabellze Black Witch. It's definitely going to be cool to see what they do in the OCG with this. If they do transition to playing this trap and the new, I guess is kind of weird because I want to just call her White Witch, right? Because she's a light. And then, like I said, when we look at an event like the 3v3 that I mentioned earlier, they are playing 3 Black Witch. They do have the Sinful Spoils Trap that has no Snake Eye in the name. So I actually do think this deck will be running the new trap, normal trap card, and along with White Witch. But let me know what you guys think. Is this card uber broken? Is it abusable? Have you already tried to like make some degenerate combo? As always, duelists, have a great day, and be sure to check out my stream. I'm doing a lot of DB rated. I'm doing DB rated pretty much whenever I play. So if you like that, check it out.